Now some of you may be thinking, Clarky's in the woods again, trying to convince himself he's Rambo. You might be partially correct, but things are not all what they seem. Well, you may also be thinking now, Clarky's going soft. What's all this about? Eh? Where's the tent? Where's the tarp? I'll tell you what, come in a bit closer and I'll explain. Now, one of the problems I have is that when I'm away, walking, trekking in this wonderful UK countryside, I worry. I worry that when I return, all my worldly goods will have been removed from my vehicle. Could be even worse, the vehicle removed itself. And then I got to be thinking, I thought, what do real explorers do? Well, a lot of them, they have a base camp. And yeah, I thought that's where I need, a base camp. And so, this is my base camp. But then another dilemma appeared, and I thought, what it is a few of you out there will know that in my attempts to immerse myself in senior citizen culture, I had a fall a couple of weeks ago, and my leg still has a bit of pain in it. And behind you, up there, there's a bloody great hill, and I was thinking, am I going to make it up there without pain? And then I got to be thinking, I went on a survival course once, and I asked the instructor, is it going to be very painful picking these nettles without gloves on? And he told me to man up, with a capital M. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to man up. Well, now that raises another question. I tell you what, let's pop in the caravan and we'll see if we can answer that one. Now, there's been a lot of stuff in the news and on the social media recently about how do we know a man's a man and a woman's a woman. Well, I need to know this, because if I'm going to man up, I need to know that I'm a man. I mean, if I'm a woman, I'm going to have to woman up. But anyway, I thought about it. So when I came out of the shower this morning, I had a look in the mirror, and it appears that I have the requisite necessities to be classed under recent government legislation as a man. But I needed a second opinion, so I thought, how else can I decide if I'm really a man? Well, men. What's a trait of men? Well, the one thing we do not do is we do not read instructions. We don't need to. We're men. We know how to fix things. Real men know how to repair things and make things work when they don't. And so I thought, yeah, okay. And I went out to plug the caravan in, and there was no electric. So, what to do? I went outside. Yes, the plug was in. I came back in, checked that the fuses hadn't popped out or anything. No, that was okay. Went back outside, took the cable out, put another cable in, pressed all the buttons and switches on the box. Still no electric. So then I went and I swapped the plugs over with the caravan next door. That didn't help either. I was getting desperate by now because I was starting to get worried about the condition of the supplies I'm carrying. Anyway, I was just about to give up when the gentleman from next door came along and said, "My electric's gone off." I thought, yeah, that's it. So there's a power problem. I'll go get the wardens from the campsite and we'll sort it out. And then he said, "When you put the plug back in, did you twist it?" Yeah. The twist. I tell you, last time I twisted was back in the 60s. So he went up to the plug and he went, "We have power. Lights come on, everything works." And then he pointed to the little notice. Then you can take a look at this. I did everything. I mean, this is me sitting here with my multimeter trying to check all the connections. And all I had to do was, just above where I put my plug in, read the notice. So what this has done is it has proved to me that I am definitely 100% a man, because the last thing I would have thought of doing was reading any notices instructing me how to do the job properly. So based on that, we're going to go for it. We're going to go up that hill and we're going to have a good time, and we'll see what happens when we get going. Well, we've made it halfway up without dying. We're at about 400 metres now. Let's take a look at where we've come from. The woodland below is our campsite. There's got to be an easier way of enjoying yourself than this. So now all we've got to do is get to the top of there. Gotta admit, even when you get to the stage where it's painful, the views are magnificent and soon take your mind off it. Gonna be overtaken again in a minute. What I have to do is stop and pretend I'm just taking pictures, not that I'm a wimp and I'm knackered. Well, this is nice. You might wonder what this video is all about. Well, don't ask me, I ain't got a clue. I guess I set off with the intention of doing some micro navigation. So I've moved on from finding my way to the toilet first thing in the morning, and I wanted some steep hilly terrain just to see if I could micro navigate myself to certain points, work out how fast I was going, and it's not very fast, I can assure you that, and how high it is, the terrain, and yeah, how many minutes it would take from point A to point B. But I think I've changed the purpose of the video now, which is why I'm sat down. I think what we're going to look at now is, how do you get somebody pushing 70 up to the top of this bloody hill? I'm at 500 metres. I've only got to go to 800 before I have to make another decision what to do. Now the great thing today is I've got everything I need not to have to go down this hill if I don't want to. So I got to here and I thought, your body is telling you that it doesn't want to go any further at the moment. You see, when you've misused your body over many years, there's certain bits of it that start sending you messages like, what do you think you're doing? Get yourself back down and sat on the settee watching Holmes Under the Hammer. But there's a way to combat that, and first you've got to have the will to want to come out and enjoy this beautiful weather, scenery, countryside, and you've also got to have the determination to keep going when everything aches. Now I know from experience that when I get to the top of this hill, nothing's going to ache because it'll just dissipate. It's just when things get hard. So what I'm doing is I'm responding to my body's requests. It told me that I wanted water, which, as we know, I'm a bugger for not drinking enough. And I'm hoping that I come to a town, which I've got on my map here, because I'm going to need water later. And keep putting the energy in. It says here, 5 gloriously gooey, generous flapjacks. Yeah, nothing's gloriously generous these days in packets. Same things would have been probably twice the size 20 years ago. Anyway, I'll decide if they're gloriously gooey, juicy or whatever they are. So that's what we're about. I'm going to sit here, rest up a little bit, enjoy the scenery, because there's no point flogging yourself to the top and not enjoying your surroundings. And I'll tell you now, as you'll have seen from earlier clips, the views are absolutely stunning. So yeah, next objective, get to the top, and then I'm on a ridge, and I'm going to traverse along this ridge and then make a decision what to do. And like I said, that's the great thing about not having to rush anywhere or get back. I can just potter along and make my own mind up when the time comes. A bit like I do when I'm talking to you lot, because I haven't got a clue what I'm going to say till I've switched the bloody camera on. So that's enough gobbledygook from me for the moment, and we'll see you later on. See what I mean? Get to the top, bit of flat ground, bit of gooey flapjack, and we're off like Superman. I'm at the top of the peak I was aiming for to start with, and if you are talking about map reading and having a map and a compass, if you take a look at the view as to the rough direction I'm going next, you'll see this track's going off in all directions. Now if the cloud came down, which it's renowned to do around here, it'd be very difficult to be able to set off in exactly the right direction. And that's why I've got the compass, and I've been able to lay this compass on the map, and I know exactly which one of those paths. Now even if I couldn't see those paths because the cloud had come down and visibility was only 10 metres, I'd still know which way to go. And if you didn't know which way to go, you could easily make a mistake and walk off the edge of the cliff. So that's what the map reading side of it's all about. Something else while I'm up here. I hate to be a moaning old git, but sometimes you need to say something. Just take a look at just a few bits lying around. So there's shells from nuts, there's tissues, there may even be some poo somewhere if I look carefully, and there's a banana skin. Well, let's just take the banana skin. Banana skin, you think, oh, it's organic, it'll degrade. It'll take forever to degrade up here, it'll just lay there as waste. If we're in the desert, it'd take thousands of years for it to degrade, believe it or not. But what's all this throwing all your tissues and your nutshells and, I don't know, cashew nuts probably? Take your litter home with you. It don't take much just to pop it. I'm carrying 2 sandwich bags, and when I finish with anything, litter, packaging, it'll get folded up, put in there, I take it back with me. I haven't gone all SAS though. I do tend to leave my poo up here. I do draw the line at putting that in a bag and taking it back with me. But I guess if needs must, then I would. Anyway, I'm going to get out the shelter of this banking that I've squat down so that basically so I don't have to swap cameras. The other camera has a microphone and I can talk to you when it's really windy, but this one picks up the wind really badly and distorts the sound, and God forbid we won't want my flipping voice distorting, would we? No, you might miss something. Okay, let's get on. Oh. So, as you can see, there's a great big cairn, which means that we made it to the top. And the thing I like about being at the top when the weather's like this is just to lay back and relax. Now, you might think to yourself, why is he wearing that map on his head? Well, let me explain. I've got 4 hats in the caravan. And at this moment, there's still 4 hats in the caravan. I even have a checklist. Have a quick look at my checklist. It's even got the weights on and it calculates for me how much is going to be in my rucksack, and I tick everything off before I set off. But the one thing that isn't on that list is hats. So I set off without a hat, and the sun is starting to give me headache, which could be a sign of something else coming on. So all I can think of to use as a hat is my map. Whoa. So if you'll excuse me, I'm going back to the sleep. I'm going to put my map hat on. Well, we're on our way, and if you look over there amidst the green, there's a tarn. There's a couple more little tarns off to the left, but we're heading for the big one, and that's where hopefully we're going to be able to replenish our water. So I've arrived at our destination and came across the river, or stream, down there. I've been and had a reconnoitre over the other side of the stream, looking for somewhere suitable to camp up for the night. I didn't really find anywhere, and I'll explain why in a minute. So I'm going to take a look this way. Let's have a look at the tarn, shall we? So here we've got the tarn, so I've got a water supply. Now, first thing to do when you're about to set up camp is just stop, rest and think. Priority is to get water. Well, we've got water. I did have a look in the stream down below. It looked nicer water. You know, it was flowing very nicely through the rocks, almost looked nice enough to drink immediately. But bearing in mind, I always have this feeling that there's a dead sheep in the stream just up there. We don't, we sterilise it first. But anyway, couldn't find anywhere over there, because when you get water, what you do is you look around and you say, oh, that looks like a nice grassy patch, and you walk across and you sink up to your ankles in water because it's full of mush. Is that a English word, British dictionary? I don't really know. Anyway, it's a Clarky word. So you're in the mush, right? And then, of course, if you find a dry place, you want one that's sheltered from the prevailing winds, because we don't want the wind coming in the night, gale force, picking Clarky's bivvy up and zooming me off like I'm in a kite. Although that would make an interesting video and it'd get a hell of a lot more views than what I get. We don't want to be on a slope. I've been on slopes, and what happens is you wake up in the middle of the night and you've gone whoosh, not mush, we've done mush, we're whooshing now, whooshed out of the tent, and you've gone 10 metres down the slope. That has happened. So what we're going to do is have a wander around and see if we can find all this criteria we want to camp. And I have never been here before, so I haven't got a clue what we're going to find. Oh yeah, you often find a nice patch as well, because sheep like to lie down on nice dry patches and then they flipping crap in them. So you think, oh nice, and then you've got a choice. Do I clear all the sheep doo-doo out, or do I find somewhere else? Okay, let's go have a look, see what we can find. Right, came round the corner to the bottom end of the tarn, and what you got behind me here is a sheepfold, probably been there for hundreds of years. When I say sheepfold, it's a derelict, dilapidated sheepfold. So I went for a quick look inside, and it's like the perfect camping place. It's even got a fire hearth. You know, get your fire going, get cooking. Mind you, there's nothing to burn much around here. Come on, we'll go inside and have a look and see what you think. It's great. Grass is cut, sheep have done that, very good of them. It's dry, there's some flattish areas, but it's still not right. And the reason it's not right is because when I lie down, I can't see a view because of the walls. But as I came through here and made that decision, I went through the sort of door to the outer fold and I found something a bit better. So this is going to be my choice for the night. There's a flat area just there, which is nice. It's sheltered from the prevailing winds. Because of the collapsed walls, we've got a view. There is no sheep doo-doo anywhere, which I'm always happy because I don't like sleeping in sheep doo-doo. But there is still one thing wrong with it, but I'm going to have to accept that. If I had brought my Thermarest blow-up mattress, this would have been perfect, but because I brought the foam mat, I know from experience that the foam mat will not be very comfortable, because I brought that because I thought I'd be sleeping on rough terrain that could puncture my Thermarest, and they're not cheap, them Thermarest mats. So I brought that, but I know that when the ground is rock hard like this is, laying on that is going to be like laying on concrete, which basically means that I'll sleep till about 1 o'clock and then I'll be moaning and groaning and aching and oh, my back hurts and this hurts. But not to worry, God, I've got a box full of ibuprofen in my bag. I just had some tablets and drug myself up, and I'll be fine. It's not going to be as good as normal anaesthetic, I mean Bacardi. Yeah, I know that works. Ibuprofen sort of works. But yeah, let's get the camp set up. I say let's get the camp set up, but I am not going to do anything now till I've sat down for 10 minutes and drunk all my water, because I need it. And now I know I've got a good supply. I'm going to finish that, replenish the water, get my strength back, if there's any strength left to get back, and crack on and get the tarp up. Right, let's get to it. Lifesaver water filter. Got my dangler thing here. What do they call this? Scavenger hose, that's the term. Throw that in there. Oh, it's on a float, so you can set it to sink down as deep as you want. And this here, I'm just going to top this up. I've filled it up once, but I'm just going to top it up again. This is my pee-wee bottle. It packs away down to nothing, just half an inch thick. And why do I call it my pee-wee bottle? Well, any of you who've watched my previous videos will know exactly why I call it my pee-wee bottle. And for those of you who haven't watched them, think about it. Pee-wee bottle. Oh my God, he's drinking out of it now. Told my mate about this day before yesterday, and he was disgusted. But you see, once it's rinsed out, it's good to go again with just water. I mean, all these survival programs, they're always drinking pee and what have you. Now, personally, I don't. Well, I might, but not unless I was desperate. And you think about it, 97% of it is water. It's only the other 3%, urea and some other chemicals, that you don't want to be putting inside you. But if you do, it's not going to kill you. So when I've decanted this into whatever I'm going to decant it into up there, my other water bottle actually, I shall be using it tonight as my emergency you-know-what. Because I'm not one for getting out the tent and going wandering to the bushes in the middle of the night. Here's the tarp set up. Now then, I'm going to explain to you what I've done, and that's to try and convince you that I know what I'm doing. But you might see through me. Anyway, walking poles. I brought 2, but generally speaking I need 1. What I've done is make that side longer than this side, and that's basically to give more protection from the wind coming from that direction. So it's a little bit more protected into my bivvy under my tarp, and this means that it gives me a better angle of view out of the door. I don't know what you call it. I guess it's a door, because that's where I'm going to go in. On the back I've tied the central eyes off to the stone wall behind. I need 8 guy ropes when there's no trees around, and for some reason, unbeknown to me, I've only put 5 in. Well, don't ask me why, I haven't got a clue. So we're a bit short on pegs. If the worst came to the worst, I could tie some paracord around some of these heavy rocks, so it's not the end of the world. Anyway, come on inside and I'll show you the luxury that is awaiting me later. So what I've done is folded the back part of the tarp under, and this is giving me a ground sheet because the ground's sloping that way. If it rains, the water's going to run down the back, and then when it runs underneath, it'll be hopefully not going to make my bed wet. It'll come running like a river down here and whoosh out at the bottom there. We've got the mat. I'm using the Altkit Hunker. It's the small version, but I'm a small person so I can squeeze into it. The only downside with them is they're very light, pack away very small, but you haven't got any zips on the side, so once you're in, you're mummified. The sleeping bag I've never ever used. This one belonged to my wife and it was supposed to be a summer lightweight one, and it says on here it's an old one, so you won't find one of these. Vango Ultralight 2900. What's it say? Extreme temperature -8. Well, you can forget that. Never in a million years. Comfort temperature 0 to 20. Season rating 2 to 3. What that tells me is that if the temperature drops below 6 degrees tonight, I'm going to be bloody cold. But, and something else that I thought about bringing, then didn't, then wished I had, was I normally have my long johns to wear in here on a night. So I take my trousers off, especially if they're wet. If the trousers are wet through, it's important to be able to get out of the wet clothes on a night and get into dry. And then, yes, it's not very pleasant, but you put the wet ones back on in the morning. Always keep one set dry for the end of the day in the evenings. So I'm going to try it without my trousers on. And if I get cold, I'll get out of bed and put my trousers back on and get back in. But I don't like to do that because my trousers are a bit grubby. But anyway, I have a lighter weight sleeping bag myself, but it's only like a one season bag, and I don't risk it up here because we're at about, now we've dropped down to the town, we're at about 650 metres, so it's still quite high up, and when the temperature drops tonight, they'll be down at the caravan park sunning themselves, and I'll be up here freezing my didgeries off, won't I? And you will never see any of my videos where I don't take my pillow, because it's the one luxury I refuse to go away without. Oh, do you know, I'm going to have a job getting out of here now to switch that bloody camera off. Oh well, anyway, I suppose we'll have to. So that's it for the night, and I'll be getting myself comfortable. Do you know, I'm supposed to be getting some tea on, but I am so knackered. I might just get a Snicker bar out, and you all know how long I can last on a Snicker bar. But we'll see. Upwards and onwards. Well, morning. It's 5:30 in the morning, and I can honestly say the evening and the night went exactly as I predicted. Not been a good night. For somebody who has all the equipment to choose from to make life so comfortable out here, I didn't do very well at choosing the equipment for last night. So this foam mattress is normally alright on some nice soft ground, but God, it was hard last night. I lay on one side, pain, lay on the other side, pain, lay on my back. I lay on my back, I don't sleep because I snore. I was going round and round and round like a chicken on a roasting spit. And my legs, well, should have brought the other sleeping bag. I did say that this wasn't going to be what it said on the label. My legs have been cold all night. At one point I put my fleece jacket over the top of them, but then sometime in the middle of the night I decided that things were getting so uncomfortable I actually folded it over and laid it where my hip would sit to try and take a little bit of the pain out of the hard ground going through my hip. That did partially work, but that left my legs even colder. Managed to keep the core reasonably warm just by having this fleece on. Missed having my woolly hat to keep my ears warm in the night, but yeah, all in all, not a very pleasant night. But as I said to myself, sometime in the darkness, it's only for 12 hours, and if you're lucky you'll have a long life, and 12 hours out of it isn't that much to be uncomfortable. So, knowing that it's going to be a beautiful day today, and also knowing that I wasn't getting any warmer, if anything I was just steadily getting colder, I've got myself out. I'm going to pack up and get on the move, and I might speak to you later. See ya. I do a lot of grunting when I do these videos, don't I? Well, I was back quick. I thought now I've got everything out ready to go into the rucksack. Can't normally do this because the weather usually isn't suitable for laying everything out, but the odd one of you, or two of you even, may be interested in what I've got in this rucksack. I'm using the Osprey Talon 44 rucksack. It's very, very lightweight, and if you were to pick it up you'd think it wouldn't last 5 minutes, but I've had it quite a few years and used it on these single or 2 night backpacking trips, and I find it excellent. In the video you'll have seen me carrying the hiking poles attached to it, and do you know, I've had that about 7 years, and I didn't realise what one of the fixings was designed for, and I watched a YouTube video about it just to remind myself about the pack in case I wanted to talk about it, and I realised it, excuse me, oh dear me, I think that's old man's morning cough. Anyway, realised there was an attachment on there that I hadn't realised how it worked for carrying the hiking poles. Well, there you go. So, what do we got here? Well, we got the mat, we got the sleeping bag. This is the Alp Kit Unker. That packs away into its own little pouch at the bottom. We'll go along the row here. This is a rain jacket, first aid kit, and some snacks. Got a knife there. I'd normally bring my Leatherman multi-tool, but it weighs twice as much as this Mora knife. In fact, I even brought the stainless steel version of this because the carbon version is heavier. So I've got some food here, gas bottle, and in here, this is a Bushcraft store little pot for cooking in, and this is an OEX burner. He says it's like he doesn't know what he's got, he has to think about it every time. In here is actually a puffer jacket, and there were several times last night when I thought about taking it out, but I couldn't be arsed, so I didn't. Toilet paper, you never know when you're going to need some of that. I should point out, if I did use it round here, I'd leave the actual waste discreetly somewhere, but the toilet paper I would burn. And if I couldn't burn it, I would pack it into the bag and I would take it out with me. I wouldn't leave it blowing around in this countryside. Secondary camera. I don't tend to use this if it's windy, other than for just what do you call it, panoramic scenery shots, because it picks up too much of the noise of the wind, which is why, pair of gloves there as well, which is why these two items here, they're the containers for the Rode microphones that I'm using. Then we've got the Lifesaver Liberty for filtering the water, head torch, which is very important, and I've got spare batteries for that as well. Midge net. I didn't know whether I was going to need a midge net or anything, but I kept that very close to my pillow last night. Got a book, which there's no phone signal here, so that was essential last night for a little bit of entertainment. A box here that's got various things in. The torch will go back there in a minute. It's got batteries in for the camera, and it's also got fire lighting equipment. So there's waterproof matches and there's a lighter in there. Over here I've got a power pack, because also in there is, as well as spare batteries, there are charging blocks for the batteries. This one here, which is my favourite bit of equipment, my Thermarest pillar. Reading glasses, because I needed them on last night, and obviously a bag for the tent pegs. This is the Pee-wee bottle when it's packed away. It's actually Hydra Pack. Now this particular one they don't make anymore. They stopped last year or year before, I'm not sure when. They do another one that reduces in size. I have had a look online at it one, and I'm going to order it, because the way this unfolds and goes back together, I think they maybe found that people didn't like it very much, because it can be tricky to pack it away. What I'm concerned about is, will the new one have an opening big enough for me to insert the required piece of equipment to go to the toilet? Something there to have a look at. Water bottle, I've just emptied that and topped this up full. That'll be plenty of water to get me back, and even if it wasn't, I'm following a river back, so endless supply of water. Paracord, which goes very well with guide pegs, you know, if you've remembered to bring them. But yeah, a bit of paracord, you can always do anything with paracord. Even if I didn't have any guide pegs, I could rig something up with a bit of paracord. And this is the package that contains the camera that I'm filming you on now, and the map. So that's it. All this just packs nicely away in here, and the tarp obviously when I break it down, and all you need to survive for a day or two in the hills. And a couple of things I forgot to mention, because they're in my pocket. I've got a GPS, that's in the rucksack, which I've just packed, and attached to me at all times is my compass, and also fast find locator beacon. So should I just go and collapse, as long as I've got the strength to flick that red tab off, that will send out a signal to RAF Valley on Anglesey. That's in Wales, England. Well, Wales, England, it's in Wales, the United Kingdom. And they will send the signal down to Falmouth Coast Guard, who will, hopefully, arrange a rescue for me. Never had to try it, never ever want to try it. I bought it specifically for sailing, and at the time that I bought it, you weren't allowed to use them on land, but now you can. But yeah, only to be used if you're about to gasp your last breath. Anyway, that is often attached to me while I'm in bed as well. Pop that back in there, and the compass back in there. I wonder what else I've forgotten. better have a walk around this campsite before I leave, hadn't I? And see what I've left. Speaking of what somebody's left, actually, just wait there a minute. I found this lying on the ground. It's, what's he say? Icon rubbing alcohol. Now, if that's all right, I actually want some of that. So I've got a sneaky feeling there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's very good for cleaning your feet at the end of a sweaty day, and helps prevent infection, especially if you've got a little bit of blister or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to take that with me and have a look at it, and hope to God it is actually rubbing alcohol.